Good morning, General Amidror. We'll start the briefing now. I want to introduce formally Major General Yaakov Amidror. Please unmute yourself. Please mute yourself, so we'll not have any noises. General Amidror is Anne and Greg Rosand, Senior Fellow at the Jerusalem Institute for Strategy and Security. General Amidror was National Security Advisor to Prime Minister Netanyahu and Chairman of the National Security Council 2011-2013. He served for 36 years in senior IDF posts, including commander of the military colleges, military secretary to the Minister of Defense, director of Intelligence Analysis Division in the Military Intelligence, and chief intelligence of the Northern Command. He's also a distinguished fellow at the JISS Gemunder Center, and he's the author of 3 books on intelligence and military strategy. And now General Amidror will brief us on the war on Hamas. Amidror, please.
Okay, do you hear me?
Yes, they do.
Okay, we are now in the stage the stage 3 of the operation. The first one was immediately after the attack 3 weeks ago, to stop the wave of the invasion into the settlements around Israel. Some of them had been conquered by the terrorists, and some of them the terrorists only entered to. Ofakim is an example, and then to clean the area till the last terrorist will be killed. In this stage, more than 1,000 terrorist bodies remain on the ground, and parallel to this stage, the second phase took part. It's the airstrikes, which since then is continuing. I'll say something about the airstrike later on. When the airstrike took part, the ground forces came to the south. We didn't have a clear plan to reconquer the whole Gaza Strip. It never was one of our goals. So we didn't have a good plan to do it, and we began to make the plan. The Americans, some American generals with experience in urban warfare came to help in the planning stage, but at the end, what we did is totally different from what they did in both in Mosul and Fallujah. Maybe based on their experience, we understood that we did something that we cannot. And the preparations begin, training and so on and so forth. The airstrike in the last 3 weeks is 3 elements of targets. One is the list of targets that we had before the war. We had a good intelligence about the infrastructure, and we destroy all what we had in the list. The second element was collection of intelligence during the airstrikes, mainly about people and headquarters in which we succeeded to eliminate few from the medium rank of the Hamas, the level of battalion commanders and 1 brigade commander. It is not the leadership. It's one level under the leadership. In Gaza Strip, I mean, because there is part of the leadership is in Qatar in 5-star hotels. This is another ballgame. And the third element of the airstrike were the demands of the ground forces commanders, which had, after building the plan, they understood what they want to open in the area and what building to eliminate that will not disturb them in their moving, and so on and so forth. So we're continuing the airstrikes. Now it is more focusing on the need of the ground forces. And 2.5 days ago, the ground force maneuver begin. We are coming from some directions. There is the picture is not clear, not for Hamas, and this is why we don't speak about the details of the invasion. But we know that they don't understand the situation. Parallel to the airstrikes, we try to convince the people living in the north part of Gaza Strip to move to a designated area called Muassi. It is in the south center of the strip. Our interest was that less and less civilians will be in the battlefield. Hamas didn't like the idea. They tried to stop many of them because Hamas wants that more and more civilians will be in the battlefield. Ironically, we want to minimize the number of casualties within the civilians. They want to maximize the number of casualties within the civilians because that gives them the card that they can apply to the international community, the media, and so on and so forth, and to cry about the humanitarian crisis. Because we don't want a humanitarian crisis and we want the people to understand that they can live in a safe haven in these designated areas, we allowed humanitarian aid to come to the strip. Not everyone in Israel likes it because people are saying, what about the hostages that they have? But we think that gaining the legitimacy in Washington is more important than stopping the humanitarian aid, and food, water, and health needs, medicines, and so on are going every day from Egypt into the designated area, the safe haven. And the situation there is not a crisis at all. What will happen when winter will come and it will be rainy and colder? It's a good question, but it's not now. Now it's not a problematic issue. The United Nations agencies build tents there, and so there is no crisis. It's not. It's not the standard of living of Melbourne or Tel Aviv, but it's not a crisis. The ground forces are squeezing in from some directions. The targets are clear. It's to identify the command and control system, to find the headquarters, the factories in which they produce the weapon, and so on and so forth, and to kill as many members of Hamas as possible, from the highest ranking, from Sinwar and Def, to down the ranks into the terrorists which took part in the raid on Israel. We have a list, and we will kill them one by one. At the end, the goal is very clear. I know that some people around the world are saying that it's not achievable. I don't agree. What we want is to dismantle the military capability of Hamas. At Hamas, the people of Hamas will remain, members of Hamas will remain in Gaza. We are not going to kill all the, I don't know what is the number, 40,000 of them. We will kill the leadership, we will kill the commanders, we will kill the experts, and whoever will fight against us. And we will destroy all the facilities. So at the end of the war, Hamas will remain as an organization in Gaza, but will not have the military capability to attack Israel. It will not be a threat to the people on the other side of the line. Probably we will achieve to that a no man's land around the perimeter of the Gaza Strip, so they remain far from the fence. But the issue is that as an organization, as a military organization, Hamas will not exist. And it is clear for us that after retreating, I don't know, it will take 6 months, 12 months to clean the Gaza Strip. When we will retreat, we will keep the freedom to act inside the Gaza Strip by ground forces and air force whenever will be needed. We will not let anything like Hamas to grow again in the Gaza Strip, and for that we will have to remain with very clear, very close contact through the intelligence and whatever will be needed, and to destroy everything which we will be exposed or we will learn from the intelligence that someone is beginning to build. So we are now in the beginning of the third phase. We continue the air strikes, and the ground forces are coming in, squeezing towards the center of Gaza. We are doing it very slowly, in purpose. Whenever we have an opposition, we stop, we wait, we bring the artillery and the air force. We have superiority of our firepower. We understand it. We are not rushed anywhere. It will take another week. It's okay from our point of view. We don't want to go to traps which had been prepared by the Hamas, and we prefer to destroy than to fight. And this is why it is slow. Tonight we had the first very nice success. One of the hostages was released by special forces, which came into Gaza. We had the exact information which was needed for the raid. It was done nicely. She's on our hands. We keep it in secret more than 12 hours, but you know, in the crazy democracy called Israel, you cannot keep secrets too long. No question that the hostages issue is a big problem. The decision here was that we are going for the ground operation and will not let Hamas to stop us by negotiating endless negotiations about something that will not occur anyhow. If the minute that we have an information about the location of hostages, this area is designated immediately as non-strike area. No one from the IDF can fire to this designated area, and we have to make a decision if the ground forces will move towards this direction to make it on the ground, or we will bring from the rail, we will bring special forces like the last raid that we did, and they are doing the job under the envelope and the protection of the ground forces. It will be decided in each case by mainly because of the intelligence, by the intelligence that we will have, and the ability to conduct such a release operation. Another challenge are the underground tunnels. It's a huge one. Slowly, we are exposing the entrances to these tunnels, and we have some means how to deal with the people down in the tunnels. Again, the question is question of the main challenge is intelligence. Where are they located? Where are the entrances, and what we have inside? So this is a new challenge. We don't have an experience fighting in urban areas with kind of network of tunnels underworld, and this is what we have here. Underground, there is a huge network of tunnels, but slowly we are getting to it, and we will do the job. It is a very dangerous one. It's complicated, but we understand the challenge. In the north, regarding Hezbollah, immediately after the operation in the south, the question was asked here, will Hezbollah join? And this is why many forces ran to the south to eliminate any possibility of surprise there. The special forces of Hezbollah are at least 3-4 times stronger than the special forces of Hamas, and surprise there might be devastating. And this is why we call the reserve units, and now Israel is under a huge reserve units calling. We have more than 300,000 Israelis in reserve now, in duty. Many of them in the north, making the line of the north very strong. In the last 3 weeks, what we had in the north are skirmishes between our forces and Hezbollah. Hezbollah brings Palestinian teams, giving the operational envelope, logistic, fire support, and so on and so forth. But the teams which try to infiltrate to Israel are, most of them, or all of them are Palestinians, either from Hamas or Islamic Jihad. We succeeded to block all of them on the fence. No one succeeded to infiltrate into Israel. I think that there was one terrorist somewhere that succeeded to shoot a few bullets into one of our settlements and was killed. But other than that, we blocked all the attempt to infiltrate into Israel. And we immediately reacting against the positions of Hamas in the area. But both sides are very careful not to extend the area of these events. It is no more than 3 kilometers from the border. Both sides understand that extending it into Israel in one side or into Lebanon to the other side might lead to a big operation, to a war in the north, and it is not the interest of both sides. We try to understand what is the calculation of Nasrallah, and I think that there are 3 elements that should be taken into account. First, Hezbollah was not established to save Hamas. Hezbollah was established to be the long arm of Iran, deterring Israel from attacking Iran. And they don't want to waste it on saving the Hamas. In a way, cynically, I can say there is a cascade of readiness to sacrifice in the area. Iran is ready to sacrifice the Arab Shiites, Hezbollah. The Arab Shiites are ready to sacrifice Hamas, a Sunni organization. And Hamas is ready to sacrifice the people of Gaza because they are not members of Hamas, and it gives them the benefit of in the international community. So if you look at the cascade, at the end of the day, the civilians in Gaza are paying the price for all the readiness chain to sacrifice, but each one is ready to sacrifice those who are under him. And they are at the end of the chain. It's cynical, I know, but this is part of the calculation of Nasrallah. The second one is he understands that if he begins a war, the scenes from Gaza will be in Beirut. And when you look at the results of the airstrikes and now of the ground forces operation, his last nightmare is that he wants it to happen in the Shiites areas in Lebanon, either it is in Beirut or Bin Jbel or Nabatia. He understands that now we took all the restrictions that we had in the past, and you know that I don't know what is the percentage of buildings that had been destroyed in Gaza, but we are much over the 15%. So it's and he doesn't want to see it in Lebanon. And the third and the very important fact is we are very strong in North. Now he cannot surprise us, and he has to take into account that the minute that he will attack Israel, the gates of hell will be open because we are very strong. And for some Israelis, it will be a great relief because otherwise we will have to decide what we are doing in the future with Hezbollah. Many Israelis within the decision-making and the military apparatus will be more than happy if Nasrallah will give us the opportunity to make a war in Lebanon. Now, when Air Force is not so needed in Gaza because the ground forces are in, I mean, it's the best time for probably from point of view of the ability of Israel to react and to give a good answer to the challenge in Lebanon. But up till now, both sides are keeping it within the boundaries that I described, not more than 2 or 3 kilometers from the border. Judea and Samaria, we have many forces there. We want to keep it quiet. We arrested more than 1,100 terrorists, 2/3 of them Hamas. We killed more than 100 during those operations, and up till now the demonstrations are very limited, and the PA is controlling the street. From time to time, we have to need more force. For example, last week we had an operation in Jenin. One soldier was killed. We used even the Air Force to bomb a mosque under which there was a group of terrorists, and we knew the deep basements under the mosque, which we visited a few weeks ago. So we decided to bring an F-16 and I don't know, F-16 or F-15, and to blow it. We didn't take the chance. We didn't send any forces into the mosque, and we didn't use the Air Force in the West Bank, I think in the last 20 years at least. So we took all the restrictions that we had, and we are fighting them. We killed more than 100, as I said, and arrested more than 1,000. There is another front, which is new for us. The Houthis in Yemen, and it is closer to Australia, of course. The Houthis in Yemen launch cruise missiles and missiles into Israel at the beginning of the last week. All of them were intercepted by the American American Navy, sorry. And it is a special destroyer for anti-missile task, and they did wonderful job. They succeeded to intercept all of them, and they published it was 9-hour fight. I mean, it was a wave of cruise missiles and missiles, and one unmanned vehicle was launched into Taba, the Egyptian side of the border. Probably the target was Eilat. And today there are rumors that something is happening there. We understand that it is another front. We are lucky that the American Navy is very strong down to the south, so it's easier for them to intercept. And we are closing the gaps that we had around Eilat. And I hope that we will succeed to intercept any attempt by the Houthis to launch rocket missiles and cruise missiles into Israel. All what they are launching is Iranian-made. So it's another issue that we will have to deal with after the war. Many people asking questions about the failure at the beginning. The decision here is not to go into it. Even the Prime Minister said something and apologized that he said it. The decision here is to focus on the war, and after the war to investigate all the failure that we had, and we had huge failures, no question. From my point of view, it's more important to understand what was the failure and you prevent it in the future than to find who made the failure and to fire him. And this is, I think it's a mistake, but the Israeli sentiment today is to fire everyone who was connected to the big failure, and many will have to go home because there are many people which have been connected to the different levels of failures that we had. Now we're concentrating on the war. We are getting a lot of help from the United States of America, munition, which is very needed here, and support, of course, in the United Nations and publicly. It's not easy to get the support because the pressure in the campuses in America and within the far left of the Democratic Party is very strong, but the White House is very strong in its position. The Hill is out almost totally, and decision for condemning Hamas and supporting Israel was taken by 99 out of 100 senators, and 425 out of 445 members of the House. So the support for Israel is very strong. We have to keep the legitimacy. We did something that we didn't publish all the documents and the photos that we have from the barbarian attack of Hamas. It is unbearable. I'm personally not going to go to see I was invited, I'm not going to see the documented movie that they did. But we brought 200 media guys, and it was shown to them, and many of them cried. It's unbelievable, cruel, and primitive. It's not in our life. I mean, and slowly, probably we will publish it outside to make people understand why we are fighting to the last terrorist of Hamas, and it will be devastating for the people in Gaza, no question. So this is the situation on the ground, and I'm open for questions.
You can ask a question.
Can I ask a question? When Hamas is taken out of Gaza, fulfill the vacuum?
I don't know. There are some alternatives, and today it's very hard to know who will take responsibility. There are some voices in Israel saying that Israel should remain there. I think it will be a huge mistake. We don't know we don't need responsibility. We don't need responsibility for another 2 million Palestinians. The second option is the PA will come in. Again, it's not a good solution. PA is a very corrupted system, inefficient, and nothing good can come out of it. The third option is that any international body which will be established only to take responsibility for rebuilding the Gaza Strip, money from Arab countries, responsibility for the body, United Nations or others, I don't know. And it can be a combination that an international body will begin, and then the PA will come in. Many voices in Israel against the PA because, as I said, it's a corrupted and inefficient body. But look to the alternative. I don't see any better than that. And might be a fourth option that we will leave, and the people of Gaza will have to make decisions. They are not the babies. These are 2 million people that can make decisions, and they will have to build a leadership. We will help them by killing any member of Hamas that we will identify after the war. We are not going to leave Hamas or anyone else to rebuild its capabilities inside. So we will be there, and we will kill anyone from Hamas who will try to reorganize, and they will have to make decisions how they want to be controlled. They're not babies.
General,
and we don't have any responsibility. We out of Gaza. Yesterday I was in American media, and one American said, but it's an occupation. I said, guys, stop. We retreated from Gaza more than 15 years ago. No, any Israeli is living there. No IDF soldier was there before the war. So there is no occupation. They can build Singapore if they want. And if they don't, we will continue to kill them because we don't want to go through the same experience in the future. It was a big surprise, but we are not going to surprise ourselves again. We will kill anyone who will try to build these capabilities inside, and the people of Gaza will have to make decisions. We don't have a solution for Gaza. They will have to find a solution. The wall, they, whatever.
Amidror, does the leadership, sorry, does the leadership of Hamas in Qatar have a leave pass?
What the leadership of Hamas?
In Qatar, do they have a leave pass?
They are now in Qatar. We are using Qatar to put pressure on Hamas to release the hostages. Yossi Cohen, the previous head of the Mossad, was in Qatar, and we want to that they will need we need that they will use their connection to Hamas, which was financed by Iran and Qatar, to release the hostages. But at the end, I think that, how to say, if I would have an insurance company, I will not sell them any
life insurance.
Yes, life insurance.
Stanley.
General, can I ask a question in response to?
Stanley asked. Okay.
I have
You'll
my
be next,
hand up.
okay?
Look, there's a hand. So, and I've got to go in 5 minutes too. So just one question, please. How do we stop Hamas moving to the south along with all the civilians? And they'll keep a fighting force there in the north with their leave 10,000 behind, but they can take 30,000 to the south along with the civilians. And how do we stop that? And how do we get them there then?
We don't stop them. It will ease our war in the north if they will go with the civilians to the south, to an area in which they don't have any infrastructure. It's an open area.
We've seen all the tunnels, though. Israel has released maps of where the tunnels were in 2 years ago, in 2021, and there were just as many tunnels in the south as well as the north. So how can we be so confident that all their infrastructure is in the north?
No, the infrastructure is in the north, that we know. Most of the infrastructure, not all the infrastructure, but most of the infrastructure is in the north. What's important for the continuation of the organization as an organization is in the north. And of course, after we will take and destroy the north, and most of the population will remain in this safe haven, we will have to decide what to do with the south. I don't know now. And we didn't have any decision. Very much depends on how the war in the north will go, what will be the results, how many casualties we will have, they will have. But all those who are living in the north are making our war in the north easier because they are not taking part in that, and it's okay. They can be there intense in the south, and we don't stop it.
Eliminating Hamas, what does it actually mean? There's what I understand is about 50,000 Hamas fighters, terrorists. Eliminating, what does that mean? Killing 50,000 of them?
We didn't say that we are eliminating Hamas. What we said is dismantling and eliminated the military capability of Hamas, and this is something different. Probably many Hamas members will survive the war, and will remain in Gaza. What we don't want them to have is the ability to launch rockets, to fire, and to train themselves, and so on and so forth. Only the military side. We cannot kill all the population of Gaza in this war.
But wouldn't Iran start to provide more ammunition and just resurrect them over time?
They probably will try, but unlike in the past, whenever we will have any piece of information about attempt to build something in Gaza, as I said, after the war, we will go back and destroy it, either with ground forces or with airstrikes.
Any other question? Greg? Unmute yourself.
Yes, is Hezbollah not going in full force because America is very close in the Mediterranean? Is that why, or do you think at some time they might unleash?
I think that it is that American presence in the Mediterranean, which is very strong, by the way, is more about Iran and less about Hezbollah. I think that the other side understand that the Americans will not. Look, Israel is fighting two tiers war. Some philosophy, okay. Israel is fighting two tiers war. One is for the security of the people around Gaza, that will not be anymore under any attack in their life, and the ability of Hamas to launch missiles will not have to go to shelter from time to time. This is the first thing. The second one is not about the security here and there. It's about the existence of Israel in the Middle East. You cannot live as a little country, the only non-Muslim, non-Arab democratic country from the Atlantic to India, if you don't count Turkey as a democracy. We cannot live without deterrence. And deterrence is something very blurred. You don't know exactly when you have it and when, but you know when you lose it. And we lost it in 7th of October. And this operation is the first stone of the new wall of deterrence that we should have in the Middle East. We cannot survive without it. And this is why the victory should not be just clear and well understood, but also very visual. Everyone in the Middle East will have to understand with those guys, you don't begin. And this is why we are very determined to eliminate the military capability of Hamas, to send it back 30 years in history, when Hamas was an organization, legitimate organization, making charity and education and so on and so forth, you know, a branch of the Muslim Brotherhood, but they didn't have the ability to attack and to kill Israelis. And that is our goal. We cannot kill the idea, we cannot kill the ideology, we cannot kill the religious belief of many people, and even the hope. What we can is destroy the physics, the materials, the tools, and to kill the people, the leaders, the commanders, the high-ranking commanders and the medium-ranking commanders, and probably down to the ranks, many commanders which they don't know that they are commanders, but they will be, and they will be killed. It is a long war. It is not going to be ended in 2 or 3 or 5 weeks. The intensive part will take a few weeks, and then it will be a long, very gray operation to clean the Gaza Strip from all the capabilities of Hamas, to destroy all the tunnels, and to kill as many of them as possible. So this is the combination that we are looking for, and it's very important that it will be well understood and well seen in the Middle East, that any leader in the Middle East, when we'll have to make a decision, will have to take into account the consequences. And the consequences should be very severe, and that's what we are doing now.
Greg, and afterwards, Alex Moss will ask. Okay,
No,
Greg?
it's okay. Question. Thank you. It's okay.
Okay, Alex?
Thank you. This question of humanitarian assistance, as I understand it, General, most of the, or all of the humanitarian assistance comes through the Rafah crossing into Egypt. So what is the control over that? Surely if it comes from Egypt, Egypt can determine how much humanitarian supplies it wants to provide. Where is Israel's involvement there?
We are searching every car which is going into the Gaza Strip. We are controlling every piece of human aid which is going in. The search probably as a search is not something that can be 100% guarantee, but they cannot bring something that we don't want in big amounts. And our interest that the whole connection to the Gaza Strip in the future will be done through Egypt. Israel will not have any commitment, any responsibility, any connection to the Gaza Strip but one. Our responsibility is to prevent any military apparatus to be built in the Gaza Strip. Other than that, the world will take care, the Egyptians will take care, I don't know who. But unlike in the past, we will be there with our military capacity to prevent it from building any military capacity in their side. Today, everything is coming through Egypt, controlled by Israel. The number of tracks which are going in is proved by us, and we are searching the tracks in Egypt. So we have a good feeling that we are controlling 90% of what's going in. We don't let oil and gas to come in, because we know that that will be used by Hamas, and Hamas has a huge stores of energy. We know about it. What we let come in is food, water, medicine, and healthcare needs, and even might be built and field hospital will be built near the safe haven area. It is discussed now between third parties, and the French maybe provide a ship hospital in the Mediterranean, so people can be evacuated from Gaza to the sea and be taken care. This is the kind of human corridor which was open. It's from Rafah to the safe haven. We said publicly and loudly, clearly, that if that will be used by Hamas and they will take part of the aid, we will stop it immediately. Up till now, we didn't identify such steps. I think that Hamas now is more concentrated in the defense of the north part. It's very important. They understand that if they lose it, it will reduce their capabilities in the future, and within a few days they will find that they are surrounded by ground forces. Many of them will run to the south. They have tunnels. Some of the tunnels are still functioning. Some of them not. We succeeded to destroy. And let's see how it will be, how it's going, because the results on the ground are the most important part now. And I spoke about the two tiers that Israel is fighting, the tactical tier about the security of the people in South Israel and not having the ability to launch rockets and missiles into Israel. And the second one is about the defense of Israel. The third tier is not about Israel at all. And here is why the Americans are so determined to help Israel, because it will be, at the end, decided on the ground in Gaza. But the issue here is not Gaza. The issue here is who will be the main, who will have the influence in the Middle East? Will it be the axis of America and Israel in some Arab countries which are very much afraid from the Iranians? Or will it be Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, with backing from Russia? And the Americans understand that this is the issue from their point of view, not from our point of view. From their point of view, this is the issue, and this is why they're so determined to help Israel. And this is why, under the table, so many leaders in the Middle East, which are condemning Israel publicly and so on and so forth, are praying and calling us to destroy Hamas. They are doing it under the table, and I can promise you, under the table, it's very crowded. They want us to destroy Hamas. They really want us. They understand that it is the future of their own countries, that the Muslim Brotherhood branch of the Palestinians will not succeed, will fail. It's important for Egypt, it's important for Jordan, for the Gulf countries. All of them hate the Muslim Brotherhood. They understand this is the main enemy within the Sunni side, and this is the enemy which is cooperating with Iran outside the Sunni world. And this is why for them it's crucial. And because it's equivalent to our interest, it's not a problem for us to say that what we are going to do. But for the Americans, it's not just Gaza. It is the Middle East. It is more the Middle East. I wrote in a paper that people from Taiwan to Ukraine are looking at this war and try to understand where is America? Should we stand with America, or the Americans cannot be trusted? And I'm sure that from Taiwan to Ukraine, everyone understands the consequence. So the Americans are here not just because of the good relations and special relations that Israel has with America. Yes, we have special relations with America, and the Americans are supporters of Israel by common values, and they understand that there is an evil side and a good side, and they prefer to be with the good side and not with the evil side. But it's not just that. It's about the calculation and the politics of the world at the same time.
Daniel Ahmed, afterwards, Les.
General Amidror, that was really a fantastic explanation now. I've got a series of questions, and they're brief. And the first one is I want to clarify. When you say everything will only then come through the source, through the south, the Rafah, that means Erez will close and all these different points of entry will close. So that's question number one.
Answer number one. We didn't decide it yet. I think that this is the interest of Israel, but it was not decided yet.
Okay, thank you. The second question is, what took place in Dagestan could only take place because Putin allowed it. So
you asked me something which is much far from my knowledge. To say that what happened in Dagestan, which is the end of the nowhere in Russia, was operated or was planned by Putin, I think it's too far. I don't know. I cannot exclude it because I don't understand the system. But I think that to say it in such confidence, I don't know. The answer is I don't know. The answer is I don't know.
Okay, I accept that answer. Thank you. Next question. One of the one area that came out is the notion of the countries of the willing, the nations of the willing, the nations that believe that the threat of Iran is enormous, and that they would like to be part of a coalition with America, and in respect to that. Is there any further information about that? You know, Macron and these others.
Up till now, the real help that we are getting is from America. I don't see the Europeans acting. They don't have the capabilities. They don't have the know-how. I mean, if they support America, it's good enough. The Europeans don't have any military or intelligence capabilities that can make the difference. Maybe the Brits, they are good, very good in some areas in intelligence, but the European countries, Germany, France, they don't have this the ability to fight Iran. If they support America in this fight against Iran, it will be fantastic.
Queen Rania was very Queen Rania, the wife of Hussein, had all sorts of statements attacking Israel about humanitarianism and so forth. Her husband and her family are entirely alive because of Israel.
Look, I can understand the sensitivities of the leaders of Jordan and Egypt, and Jordan more than Egypt. It's not known exactly, but between 65 to 75% of the population of Jordan are Palestinians. Rania, it's a very nice woman, by the way, herself is a Palestinian. So what do you expect her to condemn Hamas and to risk the ability of the king to control Jordan? I mean, this is the Middle East. We know. I'll tell you a story. A few years ago, when Hussein was the king, and a group of Jews from Canada visited the palace, and they came out and say, we spoke with the king more than 2 hours, and he didn't mention Palestine even once. Not Palestine, not Palestinians, not in any way. The PL word was not there. And they went towards Jerusalem. before they reach the river. From Amman to the river, it's 36 kilometers. When I was young, I was the intelligence officer of the Jordan Valley, so I remember the number. It's 36 kilometers. Before they reach the river, they heard an announcement from the palace that a group of very prominent Jews from Canada visited the palace. The king urged them to solve the Palestinian issue because it's the most important issue in the Middle East and should be resolved, blah, 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 blah. This is the Middle East, we know it. What I mean, do you want him to act against the sentiment of the street, which was 75 years educated that Israel is the enemy, and now what you want that he will say that he condemned Hamas? No way. If you ask me what he pray every morning and every night, that Israel destroy Hamas to ashes. He cannot say it loudly. I mean, the same is about Assisi. If there is an enemy to Assisi, it's the Muslim Brotherhood. So do you think that he cares about the Muslim Brotherhood branch, the Palestinian branch in Gaza? From his point of view, we can send them all to the Mediterranean, and it doesn't care. All Gaza we can put in the Mediterranean. So I understand them. I don't agree, but I understand. I know them very well for years. I can understand their approach. But if you ask what they say under the table, it's very clear.
Les, please.
Major General, do you know how many captured Hamas operatives the IDF is holding? The tunnels are an enormous problem, and are we getting info about that from any captured Hamas?
We have around 100.
Okay. And are they giving us
They had been
information?
they had been interrogated. They have been interrogated since they have been captured day and night.
Helpful.
Okay, I got a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, General Amidror, good to see you. Thanks for this very interesting discussion and lecture. I want to ask you a question. As much as Israel wants to isolate itself, am I on? Can you hear me?
Yes, of course.
As much as Israel wants to isolate itself after this mess gets cleaned up, and you know that you won't be able to destroy the Hamas brand, there will be a brand left, which will be, I guess, like you're saying, social services, hospital, pension, all the rest of the thing. It's probably in Israel's interest to see that that part of it actually works and thrives, so that because there'll be a lot of other actors out there who will be continually trying to introduce the old Hamas.
Greg, you are right. And the answer, I don't have a clear answer because it's too early. It's very much depends how the war will end. Assume that we will succeed to kill all the leadership in the 12 people, to kill all of them. And then we will come to with good intelligence to a situation in which we can say we destroy by ground forces everything in the north, and it is easy if we are there. But we have good intelligence now, and we decided, and we are going to airstrike campaign to destroy everything which belongs to Hamas in the south. And at the end of the war, assume that that can be achieved. All the facilities that they have, all the infrastructure is destroyed, all the leadership does not exist. We will kill 2 of them in Qatar and one of them in Istanbul. It's Aroui, who is leading the operations in the West Bank. And in the West Bank, we succeeded to arrest up till now in the 3 weeks, if I remember rightly, more than 1,100 terrorists, 3/3 of them are Hamas, and to kill more than 100. So even in the West Bank, the leaders of the brand will not be there to promote it. This is one situation. Another situation that, if, for example, we succeeded in the north, And we know that in the south there are still some, but they don't have the intelligence, and we had too many casualties in the north, so we don't want to go to the south. It very much depends what will happen on the ground. I think it's too early to make practical and detailed decisions about the future. We understand the idea. The idea is to destroy and dismantle Hamas as a military organization. This is one goal. And the second one is that in the end, it not will be Israel's responsibility to take care for all the problems of Gaza. How to do it, when to do it, what very much depends. If we will be very successful, maybe the Saudis will say, you know, guys, it is our interest, we will finance it. We are coming in, not Qatar. Qatar we don't trust, we were coming in. It's another story. So it very much depends what will happen on the ground. And if you ask me, the future relations between Israel and the Abraham Accord countries and Saudi Arabia and other Muslim countries are very much depend on the situation on the ground at the end of the war. The more successful the operation will be, the easier for Saudi Arabia and others to regain the discussions about the new phase of the Abraham Accord. So, you know, we like to discuss it, and I'm telling you, I'm part of 1, 2, 3 teams which are discussing the future. In every time, I think it's good to throw ideas, but to decide it's too early, or even to portray the envelope of the solution. We have to throw many ideas, and we are counting them, and we are writing them, and even a paper from our institution is part of that. And I know that in one issue they met Ephraim, and he spoke to them about it in one of the things. So we are discussing it, we are collecting ideas, we don't have any clear plan, and I think that rightly so, we have to see and to wait to see what will be the results on the ground. This will determine everything.
Correct, great, okay.
If there are no more questions, then I want to show that JISS is doing its part. We are consulted by different agencies, and we try to put our brain at the service of the country. We also publish and fight the war on the media. And I want to thank General Amidror for...
I counted yesterday, I spoke with more than 100 correspondents from India, America, Romania, tomorrow I have Ireland, European countries. I spoke with more than 300 American generals, and in Europe more than probably 100 media guys through groups which I had been informed. I was yesterday in New York, a gathering of 500 Jews. Don't tell anyone, all of them are very rich, to convince them that the most important act that they can do to help Israel is to invest in Israel economy. To revive the economy will be the big test of the country after the war. So moving from charity to investments in our economy. I flew for 16 hours, and I was in Manhattan 16 hours from the minute that I landed to the minute that I took off, just to say that, briefing them about the war, of course, but just to tell them, invest in Israel. This is the test of the Jews around the world immediately after the war. And tomorrow I'm going to meet in Tel Aviv a group of French members of parliament and media guys. So we are very busy with what we are calling in Israel Asbara. I don't know the name in English. There is no name in English for that, because it's not propaganda. It's something which is honest and clear. And we, from time to time, we are using propaganda as well, but this is not the main effort of us. So we are very, 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 very busy. Ephraim is right. Thank you very much.